Hello everybody, Ben Woodruff here with another Falconry video. Today's video is part 4 in a series talking about raising an imprint. This one will be a little bit shorter than some of the others. If you haven't already, if you could please hit subscribe, it really does help me keep this channel up and going. And I appreciate all your comments and thoughts and experiences that you share in the comments down below as well. Now this video today, I want to talk just about the basics of introductory equipment on an imprint. The reason is that these birds are different, they're delicate, they are growing. It is hard for us to really fathom how fast they grow. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. What would it be like for you if in 2 months after being born you reached full size? To go through those kind of changes that quick, any subtle pressing on something, you have to be careful. What do you hold the bird in? If their feathers are growing in and overnight they're pressed up against something, they start to grow in bent. All these little details, and that includes the legs. In falconry, most of our equipment revolves around the legs. The legs are sturdy, they're strong, the way birds perch and then launch off. It's a built-in spring of sorts that absorbs tension more than other things. You think about other animals, a dog, a cat, a horse, a llama, where we normally attach any equipment is going to be like a harness around the body or a collar or a halter or something like that on the face. These sorts of things are not suitable for bird of prey. So, of course, you know, normally you have jesses, might be single-piece jesses, but for flying, you know, we use an anklet called an aylmeri jess that goes through the anklet. And when you put those on, your bird. My last imprint video talking about the brancher age, when they're starting to run around your house and what do you do at that age, that is the age that I like to put equipment on for a falcon. But it depends on the bird. It depends on the species. So you've got falcons that are really kind of like a brick with a jetpack attached. They are really the dumpiest babies, the dumpiest eyas that's growing. And yeah, they stand, but your accipiters, your bootios, your eagles, even your owls are standing the bulk of the time earlier on in their growth cycle than a falcon is. So falcons are like, I'm a brick and I'm growing a jetpack. And then once they're grown, then they're where hawks, you know, like a goshawk, or, you know, it's like a rattlesnake cheetah with ostrich legs. You know, they're like, you know, they're way lighter weight. Their center of gravity is totally different, and their legs are enormous. And all of these birds, their legs are delicate while they're growing. Not only the bones, but the growing skin and the bit of keratin on those scales as well that covers with the skin. This is something to consider when you're going to put those anklets on. In addition to that, what if you have a booted bird? Now, a booted bird is a bird where the whole length of that leg until the toes start, you have feathers. So that could be like a golden eagle, a ferruginous hawk, a rough-legged hawk, an ornate hawk eagle. Or what about something like an owl, like a great horned owl or a Eurasian eagle owl, where they have feathers that go down to the base of the toes and cover the top of the toes? This is a very different situation. The reason being is you look at the legs of a bald eagle, a Harris hawk, a goshawk. They've got these big sturdy scales once they're full grown. These booted birds do not. Underneath those feathers on their legs, their skin is incredibly soft, very soft, very pliable, and very vulnerable to abrasion. So these are different things to consider. So let me tell you what I do on these birds. So with falcon, well, let's start over. I guess with any of my falcons, except for maybe a kestrel because they're so little, but you know, falcons and accipiters, both. I wait until the branching age before I put on any sort of jess. And what I do is for several days, I will make jesses out of soft chrome-tanned deer hide. Any chrome tan leather will work, but chrome tan, it might not say chrome tan, but chrome tan is usually orange or yellow. It's often used in for clothing. You know, used to see it, you know, when people did the Mountain Man Rendezvous reenactments, people wear that, or a lot of depictions of different tribes of around the world in movies. It's, you know, it's very soft grade. This is not good for falconry equipment long term. It is very soft, but it's comparatively weak. It stretches too much, and if it gets wet, It discolors because of the chrome tanning process, and it will also fall apart after, a bird takes a couple baths, it's ruined. However, your bird's not taking baths, and this is not a full-flighted bird yet. And so this is the age that I like to use this. And I will use single-piece jesses. Now, some parts of the world, people still use single-piece jesses as their primary jess. In the United States, it is illegal to use them when you're flying a bird. If you're just using them around the house, you have them in the mew, that's okay. But when you're flying, and we're supposed to use aylmeri jesses, which is an anklet that wraps around the leg, and then the jess with the grommet, and the jess that goes through can be pulled out. And a lot of people fly their bird without the jess itself, and when they call the bird back, they put the jess in. Or if you have a bird that gets, chased off by a bigger bird and you can't locate it, it can pull those jesses out on its own. So now it has nothing left but those simple anklets, and if it stays wild, then, it's less likely to encounter problems because of jesses dangling down. So why do I do these gentle deer hide single-piece jesses at this stage? The reason is, it's very easy on the legs themselves and on the scale, on the growing legs, growing scales. I make them a little bigger, usually around the leg than you would need to, so they're soft. And the bird might pick at them, but you know what? The bird with a growing, developing beak is picking at incredibly soft material. And if it moves it up and down the leg, it's no problem. But if you are picking up your bird, because now your bird is starting to perch, it's not laying down. Remember, a bird that can't really stand, you don't want to move much by the bird itself. You want to pick up the whole container. But the bird itself, you pull under the legs and lift up. Otherwise, they can be very freaked out. Well, now you've got a bird that is standing, but once it lifts and moves, it might be like, oh, I need to jump. So the best thing to do is have these soft jesses. Oh, I'm taking this bird from my couch where it's hanging out to a transport box to go to work and back. Okay, well, I'm going to help it up on the glove. And I've got these little soft jesses that I'm holding on to in case it does try to bail. It doesn't have the strength or experience yet to flap and get back up. So if it does start to bail, I've still got the legs, and I can hold the chest and carefully help the bird back up without any torsion or pull or falling from a height that it shouldn't fall. So this is an intermediate jess that is for 3 days to a week is all. Now I will do this a little earlier on my accipiters than I will with my falcons, because accipiters are generally standing up a lot more and walking around, where falcons are just, okay, I'll stand for a bit and exercise, but I'm a brick that's still growing my jetpack. And you can have them accidentally drag those jesses through, maybe if they're go to the bathroom, and then that can get matted in feathers, and you don't want that. So falcons are pretty well feathered before I put them on. Accipiters, maybe a week earlier than that. Now with your booted birds that have feathers on their legs, I will still do a broad, very loose, single-piece anklet, or a single-piece jess at this age, and then I switch that. But here's the thing. Once I'm going to put actual jesses on, my rule for all my booted birds, even if I later transition to regular aylmeri grommeted anklets, is I will do it's not patented, my patented fur-lined jess. But I've done videos about that. I have it in my book on trapping. I will put a link to the video in the description that describes and shows in great detail how to make this jess. This is what's really good for booted owls, for golden eagles, ornate hawk eagles, ferruginous hawks, rough-legged hawks being raised at this age, because they've got something on their leg and they go, and if they pick at it, any abrasion inside and out is super minimal, won't harm the growing feathers coming in, and it doesn't rub much, it's fine. Now owls in particular, at this age, a lot of imprint owls see that, and they just will, a regular jess will pick it to pieces. But if they visually see what appears to be the same color as what their feathers should be coming in on their leg, they're like, oh, okay. And they just don't bother with it. Remember, if you do transition to regular, just straight leather anklets on booted birds eventually, it is highly recommended that you use very wide anklets, because a smaller anklet going up and down the leg is more likely to get caught under the feathers and tear them up and cause abrasion. The thicker it is, it doesn't have as much room to slide, okay, and it's going to cause us problems. Also, most people I see that make an aylmeri jess anklet, they will put kind of the rough side in and the nice fancy smooth side on the outside. With my booted birds, I do the opposite, okay? So like if I have an eagle or something like golden eagle, and that's what I've got to do, smooth side on the inside. That's just my personal preference. It just slides easier on the feathers. As far as your leather, the sort of falconry standard has come to be kangaroo hide. Usually you can buy it online. Kangaroo hide it's like falconers and whip makers are the two biggest consumers of the product. Kangaroo hide is incredibly strong. It stretches a little bit, not too much, and it's very lightweight. You want to have as lightweight of equipment as you can on your birds. Kangaroo hide is the key to do that. If you can't get kangaroo hide, of course, there's many other leathers that will work in your area, but kangaroo hide, if you can get it, which it's an internet age, get it online, that is your best way to go, and that is what I recommend. So, again, this isn't a video about making jesses, but this is kind of the introduction of like, okay, we're first doing just this transition. The bird is not fully flighted, perhaps, the bird is, but we're starting to carry around the bird, we're starting to have the bird on perches, and get it used to maybe even riding in a perch on a car, but it's not fully tethered with a swivel and a leash yet. But we're getting there. That'll come soon. So, hope this video is useful, and let me know what you do in your area or what techniques are standard in your country. This is what has worked well for me, and I will share more coming up. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and as always, happy hawking.